So the collection continues to grow. I'm at camera number 17, and to be honest, this is the one I've been looking for. Maybe I can stop looking. I'm not sure if that's true or not. In fact, the person who sold me this camera also has a stereo realist camera, which is a 3D camera with 3 front lenses. And they also have a Pentax S3 35mm camera with a telephoto lens, screw-on lens for that particular model. They may be in my future, along with a few other items that come with that, including a light meter, which I should have bought today, but I really didn't have enough money. In fact, I didn't have enough money to buy this particular camera, but for the price I got it for, it was a worthwhile investment. It is not quite the Holy Grail. It's not a Hasselblad or a Hasselblad. I don't even know. See, if you don't know the difference between that, maybe you shouldn't be looking for one of those cameras. That would be me. But I do know about Rolleiflex, and I can thank Vivian Meyer for that. A documentary about a street photographer who was an anonymous photographer for most of her life. She took hundreds of thousands of pictures and never ever published them or printed them or sold them in any way, shape, or form. She did it for her own personal enjoyment, and some guy discovered her work at an auction where they were selling off all her negatives, and he ended up with one box of negatives. He paid for that. I'm not sure how much he paid exactly for that one box of negatives, but he also noticed that some other things from that sale were being bought up by other people, and he noted those people, and he went to those people afterwards, and he said, I noticed you made some purchases, and I'm just interested in what you have there if you're not interested. And they said, well, we're throwing it away anyway, so it's no good to us. So he took the entire works of it, and he's basically made a career out of it because her work is being seen in museums. There's a hardbound book about it. Anyway, that particular camera was a Rolleiflex. And Vivian Meyer, I'll probably put up a picture of her in one of these corners. I can't make up my mind. Everything's reversed, which I got to get used to for this camera. I'll put a little picture up of her, and I highly recommend watching this documentary. To me, it's about the young man who had a wonderful find at an auction house and turned it into basically a lot of money for himself. No doubt about it. The woman in particular, Vivian Meyer, had already passed away, so there was nothing he could do for her. She had no family, no estate. She lived from house to house as a nanny. And anyway, this is 3 minutes of me not even talking about the camera, and this camera just poured, which is considered a lesser popular and lesser featured camera, but it is a twin lens reflex camera from Germany, probably handmade. This model is a later model, the last of its kind, probably a VB, but I'm not 100% sure. That's based on the serial number, which is in the 2,600,000 range. And according to what I found online, that makes it one of the last models. These were made up until, I think, 1975 and going back into the early 60s, 62. Anyway, enough talk about it without showing it to you. This is, oh man, it's so hard to get my orientation right for this camera. All right, I'll just put it right in front of me. This is a Rolleicord. You can see the top, the front face, but I do have the lens cap on, so I'll take it off in a second. This side where you make some of the settings for your ISO and stuff. On this side, we have a winder for the film. The number is indicated right here. What frame you're on, so it keeps track of the frames. Interestingly enough, on the side, I'm so used to looking through the back of a camera where the little red opening is too, and this camera doesn't have it, so it tracks the roll as it goes. It has a counter that is based on the film that's in the camera, which is going to be interesting. I'm hoping it's accurate. I'll pull off this dual lens cap, And as you can see, this is why it's called a TLR. It has a twin lens reflex camera. Now, reflex in that the image, there's no viewfinder in the back of this camera. I don't know if you noticed that when I had it turned around. The viewfinder is at the top. So I just folded that up. And if you look in here, you're going to see not much because it might be showing the light on my ceiling, which is not well lit. But this is, oh, now I'm tilting it down. You can sort of see some other things there that, for whatever reason, came into view. It is the viewfinder. So this is a waist level camera where you look down into the waist level. Right now I'm viewing myself on screen, and it's not bad. It probably could do with a bit of a cleaning, and I forgot to clean that when I did the actual object lens and the viewing lens. This is the viewing lens up here. So it's where I'm getting my image that I see when I look down into this. And the one below it is the taking lens. So it is the one that actually takes the picture, right? But gives the image onto the film. And they're pretty well identical in terms of focal length. I think they are different lenses, but that's the nature of this. I guess the taking lens would be the better of the two. You don't really need it for viewing purposes. It's a little strange in that you have to cock your shutter down here, which I did earlier, and I don't know why, but it's not clicking like I thought it would. There's some adjustments here. That's not the focus. The focus knob is over here. And the only thing with the focus in this camera is the body goes in and out. Might have been a little hard to see there. Do it slowly. The body of the camera sort of slides in and out, and that's how you do your focusing. So I've not shot with this at all. In fact, I only picked it up today. It did come with one roll of 120 film, Fujifilm, that probably is outdated since 2001. I may actually put this in and see what kind of results I get, but at $17 to process, it might be a bit of a waste. So I did pick up a roll of Ilford, my usual XP2 Super 400 black and white film to try on this. Black and white is where I think it's at with this camera, but we'll see. I may or may not make use of that. Again, I'm not sure. I'm a bit nervous about this because it worked earlier today where it just released. And now it's just free back and forth. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That could be a serious matter if it's not something, I don't know. Maybe it's because there's no film loaded in it, but we'll see. I am looking for, this thing can be operated with a flash, even a modern flash, through this port right here, but the connection is the PC type, I think that's what they refer to it as, PC type of flash connection, but it's supposed to have a little locking feature. This sort of catches it in place so it doesn't come off the camera. So I don't know if anything I'm going to find online is going to have that feature where it will lock in place. So I'll have to be real careful with plugging a non-locking cable in here. And then it will connect to, like I said, a modern flash. I got a couple of somewhat modern flashes, 1980s are the ones I'm using. And hopefully it will fire best kind. So yeah, there's some adjustments up here for the shutter, X and V and all that good stuff. And this all seems to have seized up solid. Maybe that's what it was. Well, that could make life interesting. You do have to cock the shutter, and then there's a release. Oh, this might be timer. I'm hearing a little countdown mechanism inside. And that's exactly what it was. It was in a timer mode. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I got to look at the manual a little bit further and really discover how this thing works. This stuff is pretty easy to fold down, but before I do that, there is a lens up here, Sorry, everything went dark there for a second. There is a magnifier up top, and then also, I'm not sure, I had this released earlier. Yeah. Anyway, this actually can fold down, and you can view through the back of the camera. There's a little opening right here, and there's a magnifier that comes up as well. So again, I'm not going to screw this thing up by not reading the manual before I start messing around with that stuff. I do know how to collapse it easy, and it just falls down nice and neat. Very nice design, and I'm really looking forward to shooting this camera and getting some pictures and seeing what they look like. I've been impressed with even the little brownie cameras that I've been using. The Hawkeye, that's given me some decent pictures. I have a Target 20, that Brownie Target 20, 620 I should say, that I'm hoping will give me some good results. But this thing I think is going to give me pretty well amazing results. But time will tell, won't it? Alright, so I do have a lot to learn about this camera. I think the first roll is going to be, we used to say, for shits and giggles. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, but I'm going to say it anyway. Oh, and I didn't really discuss how to get this apart. Interestingly, on the bottom, there is a little arrow here pointing this way. So you slide this thing off to the side, and then you pull this thing out, and that releases the back. And again, I don't want to break anything here, so I'm not trying to force anything open. And this back plate came off completely. Here's the opening for the camera here as well, where you load your film. This is your take-up reel up top. Rotates up here, and you put your roll of new film down in the bottom here. You have to pull out these little things, and then they lock the film in place. Same thing up above for the take-up reel. I've just moved what was down here up here, and that's pretty well the norm with this type of film. You have a take-up reel, and all the film goes on it. This is the one you bring out for processing, and then you reload another roll down here, taking the empty spool that's left here and moving it up here to be your new take-up reel. This camera also has, I think, two ways of shooting, and this pressure plate on the back here for the film, it can be put in two different settings. Now, I know this camera can also shoot 35mm, but I think you need a different backing plate for that to work. But this can do a 6x6, which is your standard size, and I'm just going to slide this down. And this one here is 24x64, or 1x1.5. Yeah, I think that must be, that would probably be the 35mm. That makes sense. All right, so again, I got to learn more about this camera before I mess with it too much, including putting this back together. I watched a guy, an online video, trying to get this back together, and he was having the dickens of a time with it. And maybe I will too. A little slide there that keeps it in place. Everything slides down together here. And again, I did most of that off camera, sorry. It was pivoting here, but there's a locking mechanism on one side, not on the other. So you put it in place here, and then you lock it over here, which I've already done. It's now back together. And again, what you do is you fold this thing down, and you slide this back in place, and it gives you a pretty darn tight seal here. Oh, wait now. My apologies. It would help if I actually had it in position before I did that. Yeah, now it's locked, the case. So hopefully no, leaks, light leaks or anything in this thing. And as I said, I am really looking forward to throwing a roll of 120 film into this thing and taking some beautiful pictures, I hope. Anyway, I actually took a day's shift, my first since before Christmas actually, as a substitute teacher, because I figure I got to pay for this somehow. And again, the other items that he has, I'll put up some pictures as well up in the corner of the other items going back to when I spoke about them, so you can see what they look like. And I honestly thought this could be the very last camera that I'd ever buy, but I sort of got the bug now, don't I? And it's hard to pass up on cameras that look amazing. And that 3D camera something I'd never even heard of before. It looks amazing. It kind of reminds me of Viewmaster when you were a kid and you had that wheel and the two pictures lined up opposite each other, and when you looked in, you got that almost 3D effect. I think with that camera, you need a viewing device or a special projector that projects both images at the same time, and you can look at them with stereographic glasses on, I guess, and it'll give you that 3D effect. So that would be interesting. And I'm not as interested in the Pentax S3. I've always wanted a Pentax K1000, so I might hold off on that one and just ask him about the other one and what he's willing to accept for that one. Again, Mrs. Eleanor Muse was the original owner of this camera, or her husband was before he passed. And I gotta say, I love that lady. She did a great job with our son while he was in elementary school, got him over some obstacles that he was having, and I think he remembers her fondly, and we certainly do. So that's it for my new camera. Again, I will add some pictures, not just here, but at the end of this, of any shots that I take. I will do a little addition to that, and I'm going to do that with some of the other videos that I posted already. As soon as I get a developed roll of film, I will, in fact, add any pictures that were taken. Maybe not all of them, but just a couple of sample pictures that you can see how they turned out. And that's important. Like when you're buying these old cameras, I'm buying it not knowing if it works. So $160 investment today, and it might never take a decent picture. That's the price you pay. It might require some work to get it functioning properly. Who knows? I'm hoping not, because that's where your real expense comes in, if it's not something you can fix on your own. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm going to upload this video as soon as I can. You don't need to know that. Anyway,